In the news this week, as more budget cuts and job losses were announced, what does the future hold for the ABC?
It's coming here. The 2023 Women's World Cup set to land in Perth after Australia and New Zealand won the rights.
WA embraced the lifting of Phase 4 restrictions as the economy reopens.
And on Western Perspective, an exclusive panel discussion on the relevance of the ABC.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Leung and Taylor Hanna.
Good evening. As the ABC endures more budget cuts and job losses, what does the future hold for this public service broadcaster? Figures from Roy Morgan suggest ABC still holds high trust ratings through its public reputation. A news poll on our Facebook page showed 44% of viewers think that ABC is still relevant to the Australian public. However, 56% believe the ABC needs to be reformed in programming and content to ensure relevance. Nelson Liu has exclusive details on changes needed to ABC's media model.
$84 million cut from the budget and 250 jobs to go, raising questions over how much longer the ABC will survive.
I think the ABC is in real trouble. I think the future of the ABC is certainly in some doubt. It could get reduced to pretty much a sort of radio-only organisation in the end.
The public broadcaster will make drastic changes in a bid to save at least $40 million in a plan to last 5 years. Experts claim the ABC is struggling, warning it can't maintain its basic mandate to connect and provide information to Australians, with staff cuts also reducing its ability to deliver more content.
The ABC in some ways has lost some of its relevance because social media, online, web delivery has sort of changed what people expect by way of news. And I think the ABC is struggling somewhat to sort of remain relevant because it's not clear what exactly its mandate is now.
Actually stretched really thin. You only need to look at the Perth newsroom here.
However, commentators believe it can still uphold values in its charter.
They need to reflect all of Australia and all Australians. And I think they've become too narrow over the last probably 15, 20 years.
If the savings measures aren't effective, experts believe the ABC may need to consider new financial models, with either advertising, more government support, or becoming subscription-based to survive.
What you're looking at, though, is quite a different ABC, and I think that would be, we need to sort of look at it and think, OK, what's it really all about now?
Nelson Liu, WAMN News.
And still ahead tonight, how's the ABC doing in a changing media landscape?
We'll discuss the relevance of the ABC after the broadcaster was hit by another round of job losses and budget savings, plus Dr. Andrew Miller's exclusive weekly commentary. That's coming up on this program in 5 minutes.
Australia is set to host a senior FIFA competition as Australia and New Zealand's bid for the 2023 Women's World Cup succeeded this week. This is the first time the competition will be held down under, with games to be spread across 12 venues in the two nations, including Perth's very own HBF Park. Sarah Smith has the details.
The Women's World Cup is coming to Perth in 2023 as Australia and New Zealand's bid to co-host beat competitor Colombia this week. Tourism Minister Paul Papalia called it the biggest thing WA has ever hosted.
Football World Cup here in Western Australia is a dream come true, not just for Football West and all the football players in the state and the fans. It is an exceptional thing for the whole state.
HBF Park's 22,000 seats will be hosting football fans from around the world. Football megastar Sam Kerr says playing here in her hometown would be a dream come true.
When I first started in the Matildas, we could barely get a home Matildas friendly match, and now we're going to be hosting the biggest tournament for women's football.
Football West CEO James Curtis said any young people who want to get into football should practice lots and have fun.
It's spending time with the ball, practicing your skills, but ultimately you've got to enjoy the game, and then will start working hard, and then you can make it through.
32 teams will go head-to-head across 64 matches, set to take place over a 5-week period. Sarah Smith, WAMN News.
The lifting of COVID-19 Phase 4 restrictions commenced this weekend as Western Australia continues its progress of reopening the economy. Under Phase 4, limits on all gatherings has been removed. Food and drink services will be allowed for standing patrons. Gyms can be opened without staff presence. The permission of unseated performance at entertainment venues and major events can occur with a 50% capacity rule for main stadiums. Premier Mark McGowan urged all Western Australians to be sensible and vigilant as the 2 metres rule still remains in place.
Phase 4 means we're leading the nation, where we've got more activity and more jobs and more businesses back than any other state in Australia.
Meanwhile, the Mark Eats Free pub event was a major success this weekend, with the Premier made a surprise visit to local patrons in Rockingham as a toast for success.
We saw it on Facebook, so we thought we'd just drop in and, get to a restaurant for the first time in a few months as well.
Political parties and independent candidates will be subject to changes on political donations and spending under new McGowan government electoral reforms. The reforms will see spending caps for election campaigns, disclosing political donations and bans on all foreign donations, with penalties enforced. The state government says the changes are about fairness, involving elections and donations in WA.
At the moment, political parties don't have to disclose donations less than $14,000 because of federal law. Under the changes before us, we are changing that, so every donation more than $1,000 will need to be disclosed.
A new $1.5 million medical imaging system has found its new home at Royal Perth Hospital, providing superior imaging and greater efficiency during cardiac procedures. RPH is the first hospital in WA to receive the ARTIS Icono system, and Health Minister Roger Cook said continued investment in medical technologies will further improve patient outcomes and deliver world-class health service. Dr. John Spiro at RPH spoke highly of the system's state-of-the-art imaging quality, intelligent software processing and X-ray dose reduction technology, allowing safer and more accurate procedures for patients.
We're extremely grateful for the investment that's been made here, in particular at a highly challenging time for healthcare. And we look forward to using this lab and this equipment to help the people of Western Australia.
The United States is troubled as some states are forced to slow down reopening as infections and hospital admissions increase to new heights. States such as Texas have temporarily paused their reopening, while Alabama, California, Florida, Idaho, Nevada, Wyoming, South Carolina and Mississippi have also reported rising cases. Health experts, on the other hand, feared that 20 million Americans could have contracted coronavirus. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has announced new physical distancing guidelines by dropping the 2-metre rule. Every household will be allowed to have visitors, overnight stays will be permitted, and they can also meet at hospitality venues such as restaurants, hotels and pubs. As infections in the UK drop, the 1-metre plus rule has been approved as long as people wear face masks and ensure hand hygiene.
NASA has discovered a planet 31 light years away from Earth that they say provides new clues on how planets form and evolve. The planet AU Mike B probably formed inside a large dust cloud orbiting AU Microscopal, a star so young that it can only create 10% of the fusion energy our Sun does. Despite its youth, Microscopal produced solar flares stronger than any record in our solar system. NASA says the planet has moved so close to its sun that it completes an orbit in just over a week. Movement, they say, holds secrets about how planets change over their lifetime.
And that's our weekly news and current affairs. We have the latest news on our website and social media pages.
No matter where you're watching, take care and have a pleasant evening.
Good night.